intermittent, very, very soft spoken, speaking in the mix, just here and there. But in this whisper ramble, I wanted to talk to you about some of the danmei that I have been reading and that I have read in the past couple years now. 3 years, I think it's been 4 years. I don't know. It's been a long time that I have been reading BL. You can see I have a meager collection of BL manga here. My favorite BL manga ever is MADK. And if you know, you know. If you don't, there are, I think, every single trigger warning in the book for that series. So, and it is very graphic. So, if you are not a fan of the gross and the taboo and the disgusting and the forbidden, don't look it up. Don't look into it. But if you are, if you're a little weird and are easily captivated by literary gore, let's say, and heavy symbolism, and just very interesting characters, I think you would enjoy MADK. There's only 3 volumes. I purchased the first and immediately looked to pirate the rest of it online. I didn't say that. To borrow the rest of it online. And I was reading the updates as they were coming out, but anyway, this is about danmei, not BL, but I do have MADK is featured right there. And I also have Stranger by the Sea, Seaside Beaches, Seaside Strangers, I think. I don't remember what it's called, but I was on that. I was into it before anybody else was into it, before it came out on Netflix, and everybody was like, Netflix, before it came out on Netflix, and everybody was like, oh my god, this is so, I like this. I liked it first. Back off. Okay. But, in terms of danmei, I have quite, not a large collection. The majority of the danmei that I have is on my Kindle because I am not a person that likes to buy books, blind buy books. If I don't know if I like the book, I don't want it on my shelf. I just don't want it on my shelf. It's a waste of paper, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of space, and so that for that reason, I always go to the library and I always borrow a book or like have somebody lend me their book for a couple of days for me to read just to see if I like it. And then, and only then, will I have a physical copy. A physical copy on my shelf. So, that being said, I did blind buy Heaven Official's Blessing. I did blind buy it because I watched the anime. I watched the first season of the anime. I don't think I finished the first season of the anime when it came out. I just watched like the first 4 episodes or something, and I was like, yeah, no, I need that, and I need more of that, and it's in a different format. It's in my favorite format. Let's go. So I did buy them all. Not at once, because that would be insane. I bought them like over the course of a year, I think, and then, but I'm also the type of person that doesn't like to start a series unless it's finished, so I didn't start reading them all until I had bought them all, which is crazy. But then I finished the entire series in 8 days. No, 10 days, something less than 2 weeks, because it was fantastic. But anyway, I blind bought Heaven Official's Blessing, and I blind bought the husky and his white cat Shizun. I don't recommend doing that. If you have somebody, if you know know somebody that has the book already, please borrow it. It is not for everyone. Again, like MADK, it has almost every single trigger warning under the sun. There is so much explicit content, so much just very highly disturbing content in it's not for everyone. It really isn't for everyone. And if you're not an individual that is willing to see the nuance in certain situations and to accept them as disgusting while also enjoying the story as it progresses further, then it's not for you. So I did blind buy the Husky and his White Cat Shih Tzu, but that's because I knew I was going in with a prior knowledge of, one, I know what the trigger warnings are. I know this is about to be a horrific, wild ride, and that I might not even like any of the main characters, but I'm willing to give it a shot. And two, I love MADK, and that's like, it's really screwed up what's in that series. So I figured, I was like, man, I can handle it. However, oh my god, what? I just purchased the 6th book. I haven't read it yet. The 6th volume, I should say. Haven't read it yet, but I am looking forward to it. It is so good. There are some things that I'm like, I see this coming, and I'm not sure I would have liked. I don't know. The world building is crazy. The world building is crazy. It's just like, oh, it's so good. It really is incredible. The other series that I have purchased from the same author, Mead Bun, the same author as the White Husky, or the Husky and his White Cat Shih Tzu, I always get that messed up. I have purchased Remnants of Filth, and I also read Case File Compendium. I read the first 2 books in Case File Compendium. I read Remnants of Filth. I don't like it, so I will not be continuing that series. It's very interesting though, and it's like it scratches an itch in my brain to know what happens. But for how expensive it is, I'm just not gonna, because I mean, even on Kindle it's like $10, so I can't find myself justifying a purchase when I'm not like head over heels for it, or even like interested in it partially, because it's like an itch that I have to scratch, because I did the same thing with Case File Compendium. I read the first book, was absolutely appalled, I just did not understand it. I don't like it. I didn't like it. But I gave the second one a shot, and I read it during a I think I read the first one and the second one during a very traumatic, very just terrible, awful time in my life, like several months ago. And when I read it, it wasn't like, oh, I'm just piling on to what I'm experiencing right now. It was more so like, this character is also experiencing things of a horrific and horrendous nature. And they are doing some very questionable things in reaction. Okay. So it was more so like, I don't know. I wouldn't call it cathartic, but it was interesting to read, like in parallel to the experiences that I was having. Anyway, read the first one, didn't like it, so I of course immediately purchased the second one, because I was like, well, what happens next? And didn't like that one either, finished it. And now I don't want anything to do with either of those series anymore. I will continue to read the Husky and his White Cat Shih Tzu, and I am in too deep, and with consent, like, in a good way. I did that to myself, but anyway, I would not recommend for any new danmei, people that are interested in reading danmei, which is, I don't think I even, like, told you what it is. Danmei, strap in, give me 1 second. Okay, danmei is, Chinese boys love, essentially, I think. I hope I'm not, like, minimizing the genre in and of itself. It is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, genre in Chinese literature of the modern day. It is primarily written by women, and yeah, it's just about men liking other men, predominantly, but I regret not buying the physical copies, like right off the bat, and blind buying them. But then I remember, $20, don't really want to do that, because what if I hate the book? Anyway, Stars of Chaos. It is not heavily romantic at all. The romance is very much like a subplot, I would say. I think that the main focus is very much political, military. It's so good. Oh my god, the magic system is crazy. The world building that Priest does, the author, is insane. Truly insane. And I have tried reading Guardian, another book by that author. Could not get into it. I think I will force myself to get into it after this, because it is, you know what, I did like it, but I got confused when a protagonist is, or when a character is introduced. How do I say this? So like in a prologue, or in the first chapter of the book, and we follow one character that isn't either one of the love interests, I get confused really easily, and I have to like put it down and like process what's going on because I don't understand. So that's what happened. Anyway, so I'll get back to that. I'll get back to Guardian as soon as I finish Stars of Chaos, the second book of Stars of Chaos, and then I have a lot of other ones that I'm reading right now. I'm still reading The Missing Piece. I'm like 90% of the way through that, and then I read Peach Blossom Dead. Did not really like it. Did it make me cry? Of course, everything makes me cry. Somebody could drop, I don't know, like a button could pop off of somebody's sweater and they like sigh in a melancholic fashion and I'd cry. So I'm very sensitive. But, yeah, I didn't like Peach Blossom Dead, and I'm like 70% of the way through the second book of The Disabled Tyrant's Pet Fish, and what else am I reading right now? Like in the process of reading, I think there's like 2 more that I can't name off the top of my head other than Guardian. So, yeah. What was I talking about? Oh, Boys Love, danmei. It's not at all, like, romance is a large part of it, is a large part of the story. Like for Heaven of Israel's Blessing, that was so rich and with so much like character building, lore building, world building, lore building. There was so much lore. There was just so much. It was truly its own sphere and its own world. And the way that MXTX writes it's like they're gently guiding you into the story and into the plot, and in a way that things make so much more sense. Like things in the first book make so much more sense when you read them, when you have the perspective that you gain through reading the 4th book or the 5th book, you know what I mean? So I think it's not just about the homosexuality of it. It's not like, not all of them are like explicit. I should say that right now. The Husky and his White Cat Shih Tzu is incredibly explicit. That is explicit. Heaven Official's Blessing, not very explicit. It's suggestive but not explicit. What else? Anything by Meat Bun is explicit. Okay, so MXTX, author of Heaven Official's Blessing, is the author of my favorite danmei series of all time, and that is the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. I love Wei Wuxian so much, and I adore Lan Wangji. I don't know how to say their name, I don't know how to pronounce their name. They do have like a pronunciation guide in the back of the book, but after book 1, I just didn't really like look into much, like I don't know, I wish I need to. It's, I would say, disrespectful of me to not know how to pronounce the names of the characters of my favorite book. Anyway, it's an incredible series. I cannot begin to describe. Also, the Scum Villain Self-Saving System is incredible. I finished that before. So I did the Villain Self-Saving System, and then I read The Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, and then I read Heaven Official's Blessing. In that order, all three of those series are written by MXTX. Anyway, the Scum Villain Self-Saving System is it's so corny. It's camp. It's very camp. It's a isekai, basically. So the protagonist, our main character, I think dies very, very young and is transported into a series, not his favorite series by any means. He does not like the series that he transported into. He transmigrated, is that what it's called in the books? I'm not sure. Anyway, he doesn't like the books, he doesn't like the novels. It's like a lengthy series, and he thinks that the author is verbose and that nothing makes sense, and that the main character is just like, I don't know, like a hunk of meat and not very, I don't know, but he transmigrates, I'm just gonna use that term, into the body of the villain of the story, and there's like a system alert or like that talks to him and is like, you need to do this and this and this if you want to survive, or like this is the objective, or this is the quest name, but it won't tell him how to complete that quest, or yeah, so he's just kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't want to die, so I'm gonna try and not become the villain. But then again, he has to act within the bounds of his character, so he will get penalized if he is too kind or too giving, so he has to like mask his kindness with like maliciousness, and then it's just so good. And then throughout the story, the hero, the main protagonist that he thought was like just like a hunk of meat, starts to like fall for him, and it's really weird. It's really weird, and it's really funny, it's really silly, and it's really goofy. And that one is a bit explicit. I do recall towards the end, I think the last two books get a bit explicit, but nothing compared to The Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. Those last couple books are crazy. They're crazy, and I love them so much. They're very deviant, and I just adore, again, the world building, the narration, the characterization. There are so many literary elements. It is so well thought out. It is a dream. It's beautifully written and beautifully translated, might I say. And the artwork is stunning. It's stunning. It's beautiful. And I am going to reread all of MXTX's novels very soon. And I can't wait. I can't wait. I love them so much. And I am most looking forward to The Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. I can't wait. I truly can't. And then, so for Heaven Official's Blessing, I also have, they've come out recently with hardcover versions that have sprayed like painted edges to them. And beautiful covers, and I'm not sure, it's like some fabric covers to them, and new artwork and illustrations. I'm not sure if there's new artwork in the story itself. I know that it's not the revised version. I want a printed physical copy of the revised Heaven Official's Blessing. I really, really, really do, because I have not been able to read it anywhere. I don't know how to read it. I don't know where to get to it, but I adore Heaven Official's Blessing, and the artwork. I didn't know, so I held off on it for like 2 months. It was announced months ago, and I held off on pre-ordering it because I was like, I have the physical copy it's just so very interesting to read about these Chinese traditions, both faithfully and imaginatively, or like reimagined, being written about and fictionalized. That's not a word, but just being creatively reinterpreted. I think it's so interesting and it's so wonderful to me, and I love it a lot. But yeah, what was it? And I was gonna talk about another. I don't remember. Sad. I don't know. So I guess I should probably end it here then, if I don't have anything else to ramble about. Thank you so much for watching and for listening, and if you made it this far, I hope that you give danmei a chance. And yeah, go into it with an open mind, and don't start with anything written by Meat Bun. Okay, stay clear of it. Stay clear of it. I highly recommend. It's like the gateway drug to danmei is MXTX. I think Heaven Mitchell's Blessing is a little difficult to get into the first couple books, but Scum Villain's Self-Saving System is really good, and Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation is also very good. So yeah, I would start there if I were you. Or if you want something like super goofy, super lighthearted, super like the main protagonist, the main character, the protagonist is really goofy and very stupid, I would highly recommend Disabled Tyrant's Pet Fish. And Priest is also very good to get into if you don't like Stars of Chaos, especially Stars of Chaos. I would recommend if you don't want to start out with something really romance heavy. I don't know, I can't say anything for the rest of the series, I'm only on book 2, but so far it's not very romance heavy. It's very much a subplot. The characters are a highlight, and they are so diverse, and they have so much depth, and I truly